03 channel for another episode of my Formula One 26 My Team JPO Career Mode. This is episode number 21, and we're going to be racing at the Brazilian Grand Prix in the Interlagos Circuit in the Jose Carlos Pace area in Sao Paulo. If you did miss the previous one, episode number 20, it was at the Mexican Grand Prix. Be sure to check it out on my live streaming, and then subscribe to youtube.com/@speedjpo303. And then leave your links and comments down below, and then also you can go to twitch.tv/speedjpo303 by following up to my channel if you want to be a follower there. And if you want to check my AI videos, send a link to go to TikTok at speedjpo303, for Bomarero at Instagram, and then also DeviantArt at speedjpo3. Well, the previous race was great. You know, we did great in the rain, and we're continuing to improve just a little bit. But the tires were just absolutely shorted out under these rainy conditions, and a lot of top drivers have taken all the inters or hards on rainy conditions, but the intermediates did a nice job. But it's going to be raining again here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, because it always has been, because you know, in Brazil there's a lot of monsoons and sometimes a lot of rain that could come down here at the Sao Paulo circuit. But hopefully we can try to win the Audi's Constructors Championship, and we could do it here in the Brazilian Grand Prix. But if not, then we should be able to do it in the next episode in the entertainment capital of the world, episode number 22 at the US Las Vegas Grand Prix. And this is the first time that the Brazilian Grand Prix is now, for the last 2 seasons it was a sprint format race, but now it's a normal race now. So it's not going to be as long as it used to be in many years, because we have totally accomplished that when we raced the Singapore Grand Prix, as we won that Formula One World Championship. All right, so we are getting ready to go for qualification at the Brazilian Grand Prix at the second shortest counterclockwise circuit. Here we go at Interlagos.
It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
Okay, I'm afraid we've dropped to P24. That's P24.
P3 and it's a minute and 10.800. Should have used a little bit more pace than that. Man, I was so close to getting into the pole position, but it slowed it down a little bit too much on high speed. So we stand steadily in P3. Victor Martins did a good job in P11 with a minute 11.334. So we had a minute and 10.800. While Leclerc is on pole position with a minute and 10.609, and Max Verstappen is in second. It's a great start for Pepe Marti. Let's hope we can keep it up in the next qualifying session.
We've dropped to P17. P17.
P7, but it's a minute 11.058. That wasn't fast. Just had too much of a slow going in some of the corners. It was a bit too slow. Oh, we barely made it. And look at this, Victor Martins barely made it with a minute 11.189, and we beat out the and even the Cadillacs are doing well here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And what a great job for Pepe Marti and Victor Martins making it through. Well, let's see if we can try to get a lot faster than a minute and 10 in the final qualifying session. And we almost got knocked out of it. Man, that almost the pole position. We're on the outside of the front row. We almost had it. That would have been Audi's second pole position of the season. And Pepe Marti is on the outside of the front row with 1:10.135. That was an amazing qualifying effort by Pepe Marti.
With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us there.
Between both of the Ferraris, as much as we can before the rains come through. And Victor Martins, another excessive qualifying effort for him, P7, as he gets 1:10.517. But the question is the Ferrari's going to be facing a grid penalty? And if they do, Pepe Marti could be on the verge of getting his second pole. And we'll see what happens during the race. An excellent job in qualifying for Pepe Marti. But you know, next season he's not going to be with us because he may be moving to another, maybe a backmarker team or somewhere else, because we already picked George Russell and Sergio Perez. George Russell and Carlos Sainz for season 2 for our Formula 126 My Team J. Career Mode. So we're going to be starting in P3. Amazing job. But whatever it goes here, let's see if we can try to win. We have a good chance of winning the Constructors title if that will be the case. If not, it will be in the next one, in episode number 22 at the U.S. Las Vegas Grand Prix. All right, let's get it up and ready, up and at 'em at the Brazilian Grand Prix. I hope the rain doesn't pour down any piranhas to slow our car. Episode number 21. Here we go. Well, NASCAR racing this weekend at Iowa Speedway. I think the IndyCars are racing at Portland. Yeah, they're racing at the Portland International Raceway this weekend.
Welcome along then to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the very final corner. And just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Pepe Marti, Verstappen, George Russell and Martins, Antonelli, Gasly, Albon and Sergio Perez, Bottas, Norris, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Sainz, Hadjar, Liam Lawson and Ollie Behrman, Stroll, Piastri, Hülkenberg, Colapinto, Lindblad and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. Well, we celebrated their first appearance on the grid. Let's look back now at what has been a really good first season for our new team.
Yeah, they've made it through the entire season in Formula One, Crofty. No mean feat at all. And they've learnt a lot this season. They can take that knowledge into next year to hopefully have an even better season.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Okay, so we're starting in P3, but with both of the Ferraris taking over the 1-2. And then Victor Martins moves up into P6. Ought to be a very good race. Let's take a look at the race direction. We're going to go with the mediums, and, well, it looks like Leclerc and Hamilton are going to go with the hards. But I think we're going to go with the mediums. I think we're going to stay with our strategy and we'll see what we can do. We can do this on a one-stop effort if we can try to stay out there if the rain approaches through. So we're going to be doing it like that. Put a little bit more fuel in there. It looks like we're up and ready to go. Can we try to win here in the Brazilian Grand Prix? And can Victor Martins get another top 5 finish to keep our the Constructors Championship as much as we can? If we clinch it here, we got the Constructors title. First time ever that Audi will get it. And if not, then the next race we probably will be able to close out the Constructors Championship at the West Las Vegas Grand Prix. Let's get ready to go for the Brazilian Grand Prix with our formation.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
Well, not yet, at least. It is coming. We have the 3/4 of the halfway mark through the race. But that's my calculation. Let's see what happens. We don't even have to pit until lap 33.
Okay, that's not an ideal placement in your grid slot. You're going to need a good launch at the race start. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
I overdid it a little bit because I didn't remember to specify. Play here.
Okay, so overtake is active. Overtake mode active. You're going to get more power from the hybrid system. You know how it works. Just use boost on the next long straight to get your way past. Okay, overtake enabled.
Season. You're going to be able to face a grid penalty in the next one when we go to the Las Vegas round 2. Job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 5.3 seconds. Tyre condition still looking good. They're still fighting each other for position. They're still fighting for third and fourth. So we're going to keep on going away. Verstappen is coming in second in the field on the soft tires. Nürburgring circuit in the Germany Grand Prix, possibly next year or the year after. We'll see. Diary for NASCAR 2026 should be coming out next week. Leading by about 7.6 seconds now over Max Verstappen. The Ford is really getting an amperage advantage here at Interlagos. Third in the hard tires, and then Hamilton is fourth. And George Russell, next year's new team, new Penske.
Gap to your teammate behind, 15.1 seconds.
that rain coming up, but no announcement about that just yet.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Now getting that band from YouTube and now they're moving back into Facebook. Facebook and Instagram, that's what we're doing. Just because we get getting back into re-popularity again. If they keep this up and everything else, YouTube is going to be declining. I think the TikTok ought to get their gaming program going, and that way we can all move there. Yeah, they can pass the first race between Russell and Victor Martin. Now he's moving up into B5. That one's got a good second advantage, but Leclerc and Hamilton are coming.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 24.3 seconds.
both Victor Martin and George Russell both passed Lewis Hamilton for fourth and fifth. And Victor's got a chance of getting a podium finish here. This will be his second one of the season if he accomplishes that. And they're also closing the gap on Max Verstappen because his soft tires are beginning to bear down on him.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Was starting in P14, but he has dropped backwards, and he's now in dead last in this race.
think we might see some rain. ETA about 15
And here's the rain
minutes.
report. 15 minutes. The rain is going to be coming heavily here at the Interlagos Circuit. We're leading by about 28 seconds now over the national stop rate. 55 at 71 miles.
Gap to your teammate behind, 35.3 seconds.
It's a little bit hard to steer here. Yeah, I've been over here for years, and I know how this track can do.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Verstappen is now only about a second now behind Charles Leclerc. Martinez still holding on to P4, about 4 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Now we're boxing this lap. I think that's Allison Alpha. Looks like an Alonso's up there. He has newer tires. Verstappen is in the bed.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes. Don't forget, box this lap.
But you're going to have your fun album when you come in.
All right, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy. Right, let's go, come on. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, Victor's in the pits. Victor is in the pits now.
Goes into the pit.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
112.187. We're flying over here in Interlagos and just beginning to cloud up. The rain is approaching. It's getting closer. I don't think Norris did it. That's why I was going to get it when the car wasn't good. Antonelli decided to go with the soft tires, using V5.
And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment. Weather's changing now, we're going to have to change strategy, so it's time to box. Copy that.
Alright, we're coming into the pit to change over to the intros. Now everybody out there needs to change their intros.
Okay, off we go, back into the race. That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Okay, Victor's in the pits. He's coming in for his stop now.
Now we are out of the booster. They won't be activated until the game is done.
Okay, so because of the conditions, boost mode and full straight mode disabled. Boost and full straight mode have been disabled, so partial straight mode only. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
Yeah, I guess we are. We lost about 5 seconds there. We're trying to survive, but the only thing we're hoping on is to taper off this range, so that way we can get back into detention.
The rain's getting worse, be very careful.
we won't have to worry about it. It never rains there.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment. The rain's getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out. tyre situation's an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got for now. Tyre condition still looking good. 10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes for this rain to dry up. Can we still hold on to the lead? That is the question. The 58 is somewhere in the left. We could stay on the inside track. And the rain lets off.
Okay, I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
It's running up a little bit.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 59.5 seconds. still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet. Gap to your teammate behind, 58.9 seconds. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Weather's changing now, you might want to review our strategy. Copy. Okay, Victor's in the pits. Victor is in the pits now. Okay, I think the track's going to be drying out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn out your tyres. Okay, the scrub tyres should rubber in faster, allowing you to start the push sooner.
Norris is also pitting as well. Norris is also pitting. Come on. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Okay, we had an issue attaching the left rear wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put that behind us now and get back into this race.
We have the very fast, soft tires. This was a magnificent strategy that we have pulled off, and now we can pull away from Lando Norris because now everything is back activated again. Man, we barely almost lost this race.
Okay, so the stewards have enabled boost mode and full straight mode.
I'm glad this Formula One game that was able to be getting it fixed because they're stupid enough to put on the soft tires. And I'm regaining a head of the Lando Norris at the end of this race. And that little bit of boost of fuel that we put in during the start of the race helped as well. And we'll be able to have enough to make it to the end. And at that last pit stop, we almost lost this race. Two more laps to go. What a good job from everybody surviving the rain. We lost a lot of ground over Lando Norris. We were 39 seconds and then we were only 3 seconds ahead of him. And these soft tires are really flying it out here at Interlagos. And I'm on our way to winning our 15th race of the season for Audi. Survival in the rain from everybody. And I think this will be our second win of the season in those rainy conditions, but to drive out at the very end where it was at the right time for everybody.
Okay, you've just started the final lap of the race. Final lap.
garbage time because Victor Martinez is running down P10. There's Victor Martinez right there. Only going to get 1 point on Noah Lopez. And coming along to the final front stretch corner. What an amazing job from Pepe Martin. Holding off in the survival of the race from Interlagos. And then to drive out within about 5 laps to go. And Pepe Martin is going to win it and win the Brazilian Grand
Absolutely
Prix.
awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Amazing survival by Pepe Martin. He had a 39-second
Pepe
advantage.
Martin
and then
takes the
almost lost
checkered
it,
flag
and then
and
it's
wins.
right out at the right time. Put on
Well,
the,
another race
soft
victory
tires.
today. You could clearly see
on
they're
the
driving
victory
out
we
there
go.
with very little pressure. You know they have the performance. They know they've got the car under them as well. And this has done no harm, of course, for their championship chances.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Talk about difficult, and we almost lost it within about 5 laps to go, within 3.4 seconds ahead of Norris. And a great race for Lando Norris today.
And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Man, we almost lost this race here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but then we survived the rain and pulled it off with a tremendous victory. With Pepe Martin winning it, Lando Norris second, and Max Verstappen third. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli gets 4th and 5th place. And there were only 10 cars on the lead lap. Glad Victor Martinez got back on the lead lap and did not get a lap down at all. And we didn't even have a single DNF in this race. Everybody finished this race under these poor conditions. Well, let's take a look at the standings. We now have 512 points over 205 over Lando Norris for 512 and Lando Norris for 307. George Russell still third with 265. Looks like Lando Norris is on his way getting to secure that second position. And the same goes with George Russell. Leclerc fourth with 243 and Kimi Antonelli in 5th. And we're 76 now over in the constructors standings, so we still haven't clinched it yet because we have 3 races remaining. We should be able to clinch it in the next race at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We'll see how we can do in the Sin City in episode number 22. And we'll have that for you tomorrow. We will run the U.S. Las Vegas Grand Prix. That'll be our next race. Oh, man. I got a little bit of goosebumps there, but then they made a miscue in the pits on that final stop, and we changed over to the soft tires, but the car pulled off beautifully, was able to win it, and it was truly a dominating race in Brazil. It was surviving one in the rain. Because if the rain would have continued, we would have not won it. Did exceed track limit, was passing over Charles Leclerc, and then almost disaster there at the start of the race, and then there was no turning back from there. Tremendous job, tremendous qualifying. The car had it all locked up, and it was a great race. Ooh, man, barely a good finish there, and then we boosted very well with the soft tires and then pulled away.
Hey, Chief, just a reminder to kick off some research projects.
Did a great job out there.
We don't want to fall behind our rivals, and we haven't got anything in the pipeline at the moment. Thanks.
A great race. What a good job for these guys, surviving it and then paying it off and then winning a very good Brazilian Grand Prix. So the next race will be the Las Vegas Grand Prix for the next one. So that way we can catch up and try to end this first season of the Formula One, the 26. So that was great results. So we haven't officially won the Constructors, but we should be able to do it and lock it up for the next one when we go to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Leading by about 512 and 6, 7, 8. So yes, it was our 15th win of the season as I counted. So what a good job we did here at Sao Paulo in the Interlagos and winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. And we have 3 more races remaining, and then the next one is the Las Vegas Grand Prix for the U.S. Grand Prix. It's going to be a great entertainment capital of the world. See if we can have our Lady Luck HQ and do very well there at the Las Vegas circuit, in the street circuit perhaps, and see if we can have a very good race there. And we're going to have a special car to run for our paint scheme for the next one, and it should be able to do so good from there. So that will do it for our Formula One coverage, and thank you so much for watching on the Speed JPro 303 channel. A great race at the Brazilian Grand Prix. We had a 39-second lead, but then when the rains came through, then it washed up everything, and then we almost lost it by about almost 3.2 seconds, and almost even lost it in the pit. So we dodged a couple of bullets there, but the car still hold on in the final 5 laps, and then we paid it off with the win. So goodbye for now then. What a great job at the Brazilian Grand Prix. We'll see you in Las Vegas for tomorrow afternoon. Till then, so long everyone from the Speed JPro 303 channel. Awesome race. See if we can make it a Sweet 16.